Yeah, well, we're busy, of course. Evita opens at the Palladium this summer, so we're collaborating with Jamie Lloyd again, following Sunset Boulevard. Well, Rachel was desperate to play Eva Perón. You know, it was her idea.
Leaked security camera video that has set Broadway and West End insiders into absolute chaos. In this clip, which is now circulating like wildfire behind the scenes, we see none other than Rachel Zegler, yes, the star of the upcoming Evita revival, being forcibly escorted off the stage. And no, it's not part of a dramatic scene. This wasn't blocking, this wasn't improv, this was the real deal. The video reportedly captures a painfully tense confrontation. It starts off quiet, the tension so thick it could split the spotlight in two, and then boom. Security flanks her from both sides. Everyone freezes, the music cuts out, movement halts, the cast and crew stare in disbelief as Rachel is silently, yet firmly led away. Sources inside the production swear up and down that this wasn't staged. This was the breaking point after weeks, yes, weeks of rising drama between Zegler and the creative team. And to think, she was once thrilled beyond words to be playing Eva Perón. How did it all go so wrong? In her early interviews, Rachel was practically glowing. She called the role life-changing, transformative, even a personal revolution. Her social media was overflowing with behind-the-scenes sneak peeks, selfies in costume, heartfelt tributes to the real-life Evita, and emotional captions about what the show meant to her as a Latina actress. For a while, this really seemed like Rachel's big comeback moment, a chance to silence her haters and finally put the whole Snow White PR disaster behind her. The media was rooting for her. Fans rallied in support. The buzz around her performance was electric. But then the tone began to shift. Suddenly, the happy posts stopped. In their place, cryptic Instagram stories, vague tweets about toxic creativity, DMs that leaked onto fan pages filled with phrases like creatively gaslit and emotionally unsafe. Rachel's private thoughts, once kept tightly sealed, were now slipping out, and they were not painting a pretty picture. Insiders whisper that Rachel felt boxed in, that she expected Evita to be a one-woman show about her, but this was a high-level ensemble production, not a solo concert. There were tight cues, shared stage time, ensemble vocals, and zero room for diva behavior. Apparently, that didn't sit well. Sources say things spiraled quickly. At first, it was subtle, Rachel arriving late and blaming traffic, constantly challenging the director's choices, changing choreography on the spot without warning anyone. One crew member spilled that even the lighting cues became a battleground. Every scene turned into a debate. Director Jamie Lloyd was said to be managing emotions more than rehearsing scenes. It didn't take long for the rest of the cast to react. Ensemble members began asking to be moved away from Rachel's zones. The sound team had to adjust mic levels to account for her unexpected improvisations. The energy of the room, once creative and vibrant, turned icy, guarded, tense. And then came the moment that broke the production. Some younger performers who used to call Rachel an inspiration, they're now stepping away. Vocal coaches are allegedly using her as a warning, telling their students that talent means nothing if you can't work with others. That fame is fleeting, but professionalism lasts. And what has Rachel said through all of this? Well, she's been talking, but not really addressing anything. In a move straight out of her Snow White PR playbook, she's gone poetic, emotional, cryptic. Think holding space, healing through chaos, grace in unsafe rooms. Her loyal fans eat it up. But for industry insiders, it's just another dodge. Because here's the truth. Instagram captions won't fix production delays, they won't soothe investors, and they definitely won't save a show that's falling apart at the seams. Rachel's rise to fame was meteoric. Handpicked by Spielberg for West Side Story, her breakout was the stuff of fairy tales. Her voice, unmatched. Her acting, raw, emotional, electric. But what came after? It's been rocky. Shazam flopped, and Rachel made it worse by publicly saying she only took the role because she needed a job. Yikes. Then came Snow White, where she bashed the original film, called The Prince useless, and managed to offend pretty much everyone. So Evita was supposed to be her big reset, a chance to prove she could lead a project and honor the source material. Instead, it's turned into another storm of backstage drama. Industry insiders say her team is now scrambling, trying to reposition her in smaller roles, lining up art house films with respected directors, minimizing her press obligations, and pushing her toward projects where she's not the face of the entire campaign. Because studios, they're reportedly losing faith. Her talent has never been the issue. Everyone knows she's got it. But talent isn't enough. Not an industry that depends on trust, reliability, and collaboration. Especially in theater, where there's no take two, no editing, just live performance. If the star is unpredictable, the whole production suffers. And in Rachel's case, That unpredictability now has a paper trail. What makes this Evita situation so jaw-dropping is how quickly it escalated, from minor quirks to what some are now calling a full-blown production nightmare. Those close to the rehearsal process say the warning signs were all there. The slight tardiness, the stubborn creative disagreements, the repeated pushback on directorial notes. Those weren't just diva moments. They were symptoms of a complete breakdown in trust between Rachel and the team. But the moment that truly sent shockwaves through the theater world was when director Jamie Lloyd, an industry veteran known for his calm demeanor and artistic clarity, completely cut off communication with Rachel. That's right, the director of the show stopped speaking to his lead actress. That kind of thing just doesn't happen. In theater, director-actor communication is sacred. It's how scenes get built, how characters evolve. Without it, everything collapses. Suddenly, Rachel wasn't just a troubled starlet. She was a liability, and the ripple effect was massive. Producers quietly began seeking legal advice. They combed through her contract, started exploring possible recasting. Understudy rehearsals were quietly sped up. Everyone started tiptoeing around her, afraid of triggering another meltdown. The once vibrant rehearsal space had turned cold, stiff, more like a war zone than a creative playground. And while the crew was scrambling to hold the show together, the outside world was catching wind. Word spread fast through West End circles. Remember, the London theater community may look massive from the outside, but in reality, it's tiny. Everyone knows everyone, and reputations travel at the speed of sound. By this point, casting directors were already talking. Conversations that once opened with, "We'd love to bring Rachel in," had turned into, "Can we afford the risk?" Not financially, emotionally. One producer reportedly said, "We can handle difficult, but we can't handle destructive." And it wasn't just the producers pulling back. Fellow actors started backing away too. Where once they had praised Rachel publicly, now there was radio silence. Even younger stars, those who once looked up to her, have reportedly started using her career trajectory as a cautionary tale. Talent isn't enough. One vocal coach allegedly told a group of students, "You've got to be someone people want to work with every day." Still, Rachel didn't go completely quiet. In classic Zegler fashion, she turned to Instagram, not with explanations, but with poetic, introspective vibes. She posted about unsafe rooms, chaos as rebirth, and grace amid the fire, messages that sparked fandom frenzy, but left industry insiders rolling their eyes, because at this point, nobody's asking for poetry, they're asking for accountability. It's a familiar move for Rachel. During the Snow White backlash, she used a similar tactic, deflecting criticism by reframing it as a feminist issue, a cultural reckoning, and it worked for a time. She shifted the narrative from PR disaster to young woman speaking truth to power. But this time, the stakes are way higher. There's real money on the line, real people's jobs, real reputations, and Instagram captions can't cover that up. Let's not forget, Rachel's star power didn't come from nowhere. She was handpicked by Steven Spielberg himself. Spielberg! That kind of blessing doesn't come lightly. And her performance in West Side Story, genuinely phenomenal. Her voice, her presence, her emotional rawness, it all felt like the birth of the next big thing. But since then, it's been a roller coaster. Shazam! Fury of the Gods flopped, and she publicly admitted she only did it for the money. Cringe. Then Snow White blew up in her face after she called the original cartoon weird and the prince useless. It didn't help that she alienated Disney's core audience. And now, with Evita, she's not just in hot water, she might be boiling in it. Sources say her management is in full crisis mode. They're reportedly begging her to scale back. Smaller roles, supporting characters, indie projects, limited press, nothing flashy, nothing risky. Just quiet, focused work to slowly rebuild trusts. Because here's the harsh truth. Hollywood loves a comeback.